live on this channel. Art and art inspired fashion. I'm sorry. And yeah, a friend was asking me how did I come up with that name, and it just came to me. I was just reading some magazines one night, and it just came to me. It just came to me, art in inspired fashion, and some people probably say it can go reverse too, but for me, that's the order that it went in. I love fashion, and just growing up in the inner cities, being young and really couldn't possess those items, and you get older, right? And you kind of realize that you don't even want it anymore. It's not even that exciting. So what I do is I'll see a piece and I make my own. I make my own. I have always been like that. Even when I was in like junior high and high school, I always like did my own thing, made my own. And it's funny because I started off with like the heart. I was selling like hoodies with hearts on it. I was telling my homeboy I used to go to what's that, Build a Bear in the city. First time I was there was with my friend, was with my homegirl. Actually, I think it was my son's birthday and her daughter's birthday wasn't too far behind, so we went up there for the first time. Got them some beers made. It was kind of pricey. It was our first time there, so I kind of let him go buck wild, But it was all worth it. He really, really enjoyed it. So they have like a whole bunch of hearts, like these padded hearts there, right? Like, and you get them for your teddy bear. But the lady, like, I had grabbed a bunch, and the lady said she was like, you can have them, whatever. So I had took like 10, right, and I started putting them on hoodies and t-shirts, something very simple. And it wasn't vinyl or anything, so it didn't really come off unless I mine's came off. I washed it 1,000 times, and my daughter's mother, she washes hard. I don't know how she washes, but if I give her a hoodie to wash for me, I don't know, it just comes out dry. It's over with. I don't know, but yeah, that's how I started off with the hard hoodies, and that was fun. Right now, check this out. I was living over by Jackson Avenue, right, living by Jackson Avenue, like 148th Street. So it was this park I used to go to work out, right? So one day I had one of the t-shirts on, and brother said, "Yo, where you get that from?" Boom, 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 quiet about it. So I told him, I said, "I sell them. I can get you one right now." But what I had actually had to do is run, get the t-shirt from home, take it to the cleaners, and actually he waited. He didn't know I did all that, but he actually waited. I told him afterwards, and he was there, and I sold the shirt. I think I sold it for like 12 bucks, man, 12 bucks. And it made like an extra $5 or whatever, and that's really how it started. Just walking and do complimenting me on the garment. So I did that for a while. Then I started selling watches, man. Watches was like really big. I had a couple of people that worked for Nitra, so I guess that helped out. They had friends, and they go out a lot, to dinner. Hung out with them a couple of times. They go out to dinner. They go to these lounges and things like that in Harlem, the Bronx. So that was good. The watches was good. You know what I mean? So now, I'm doing the custom design, man. If you see a piece on my page and you like it, definitely inquire about it. I have a lot of one for ones. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clamp down and just focus on one project. I got many things out there, many different garments. Matter of fact, I'll post a link in the description that takes you straight there. You can look at everything I have. And yeah, so now I'm just gonna clamp and just focus on one thing, right? These Bentley hoodies, right? If you want to see what the Bentley hoodies look like, just holler at me and I'll send it directly to you. And the reason why I like to do this is because everything is not for everyone. Some people get confused. So I leave that, just get at me and I'll send you reasonable price. Bentley hoodies is off the hook. Bentley hoodies is off the hook. But yeah, I was just telling my little man, we was in the group on Instagram, and I was telling him, I said, yo, if you're gonna be on social media, you have to find something to do. And this is maybe why you feel that you're getting caught up in the he say, she say, in the YouTube drama and the Facebook, the social media platform, the beefs and the dramas, is because you're not focusing on yourself, you're focusing on other people. So therefore, you're leaving yourself distracted. You're distracted or no. So when you really get into yourself, you really start living life, man. You're living in a more of a present moment, and you're enjoying it and having fun. You're getting to know yourself, right? A lot of us get to know ourselves. Some people during their 20s, some people during their 30s, their 40s, their 50s. Some people die not knowing themselves, man. You know, and when you get to know yourself, you know what you like and you know what you don't like, right? So if you know yourself, you never get caught up beefing with these trolls and arguing and going back and forth and my platform. If you're on your platform and you're inviting these people or you're allowing these people to stay, then it's kind of your fault. You're messing up your own platform. You're self sabotaging because you don't believe you don't believe that you deserve it, right? These people are looking at you and they're wondering why. What are you doing down here with us? You know, they're like, yo, what are you doing down here with us? When people may look at you as a higher standard, right? And that matters, right? But how do you look at yourself? That's what matters the most, right? And where you're at in life is actually how you look at yourself. You don't even have to tell people. People who know, people who's in tune can tell where you're at in life is how you feel about yourself. If you feel down, you're gonna be down. If you feel up, you're gonna be up, right? And life has its ups and downs. That doesn't exclude us from not feeling life's moments, I'll say, or whatever like that. But that's all it is moments, because you don't carry the feeling, you don't carry those emotions, you let those emotions go. And once they go, you get used to handling things like this. This is your response. This is how you respond to situations. Right? Someone says something about you, you don't respond back by saying something about them. That just heightens the fire. They say something about you, you laugh at it. If it's true, you say, okay, I'm gonna take this information. Thank you for the advice, and I'm gonna work on myself. And that's that. You know what I mean? And then they move on to the next person, and that person has a job too. They're teaching you how not to be, right? Reverse, and you're teaching yourself how to be emotional intelligence, right? So, life is life, man. This is why I don't judge people, but I know everyone is at a certain level, right? And if we constantly compare ourselves to others, we're gonna always feel some type of way, man. When I go into the gym, I see dudes that what I mean, look like they can lift the whole gym, man. Body's immaculate, right? And that's motivation. You don't go in there and say, "Oh man, look at this dude." Or you get no, that's motivation. You're like, yo, the reality is you can't look like that, but you can look better than that. Or you can look, you know what I mean? It's all about your health. A lot of times we're focused on the wrong things. A lot of dudes go in the gym and they just focus on getting big, getting diesel, right? Putting up a couple of videos. And me and the brother was talking about this, man. Shout out to brother Quasi. We're going to do a show on this. But a lot of people on social media, and they're posting only for compliments, right? And there's nothing wrong with compliments, but solely if that's what you're banking on, as soon as you wake up in the morning or go to sleep, a compliment. Wake up and you got 300 likes on your picture. That's some sort of validation, or hey, you're doing the right thing, keep doing it. So the next day the outfit gets skimpier and skimpier until it's nothing. You understand? But it's how should I say it, right? You got people, right? You got a woman that'll break up with her boyfriend today, tomorrow she can be in a new relationship, from the backup from numbers and the pictures that she have on Instagram, the DICK pics that people probably been sending to her. Look at sister Cardi B. I love Cardi B. That's my boo in my head. And she said this dude was in her inbox, right? She said in her rap, dude was in her inbox for a minute, and she was putting the dude off. Offset messed up, and she opened to options, right? That's my girl, lover. Maybe I think she should have took more time, but I don't know what's going on. Seems like everything is going good, you know what I mean? But everyone needs to be loved, but you got to take your time and balance it out, right? We talk about Remy Ma later. We talk about Remy later. Um, what else I wanted to speak about? And we spoke about so much yesterday. So much. self-sabotage with some people don't believe that they deserve it, right? They don't believe they deserve it because other people don't think they deserve it, right? If I post a picture on Instagram and it only gets 2 likes, people who come across it are gonna look and say, "Hey, this dude don't got nothing going on. He don't got no action." When really, a lot of times, those are the pages. You scroll and you see 16 likes, fire content, and you're like, "Wow, why does this only have 16 likes?" A lot of times, it's because people. We have friends and families that see our posts all the time. I see hundreds of posts. You know what I mean? And sometimes people some insecurity within some people that just won't allow them to press it. They believe that they're giving something away, right? They're on your page. Me and the brother APTV was just speaking about this, right? Going on the block parties, blocking people, right? You have people that will stay on your page. They won't block themselves. They won't delete themselves. They will stay on your page, and some of them are just sucking up game, man. Sucking up game. I was telling the brother the story. I always go on a block party. Got to do the cleansing, and that's one thing that the brother reminded me of. We got to do the cleansing. Very important because a lot of people are not even on social media anymore, or they got new pages or something. You may got the old page from 2016 that they haven't even commented, did nothing. So yeah, you got to do the cleansing, but then you also got people that stay on your page and just watch everything you do. Free game. And these are the same people you wouldn't allow them to come in your house and just stare at you. That's what it's like. I deleted this brother one time, right? I'll leave his name out of it. I deleted this brother, right? Within a couple of hours, this brother hits me up and says, "Yo, why you deleted me? We're not like that. Love your content, this, that, and the third." But the brother has never interacted. And then after that, he interacted like twice or something like that. And I was saying, I guess just to say, "Hey, I do participate." And that was it. So I clipped them again. But you have to do this because some people are not gonna clip themselves. They're just there. You know what I mean? They don't press like, they don't comment, and really, they don't have to. That's really not their job. Your job is to give this to yourself. And when you give it to yourself, you don't even recognize a lot of times or paying attention to who else is, you know what I mean? Because if a person thinks that you don't love yourself or you're not participating in self care, then sometimes the narcissistic mind state will zoom in and say, okay, this is the perfect Vic. You understand? So you got to be careful how you carry yourself on social media. Always protect yourself. Watch the crowds that you get involved with because, like I said before, you don't got to be the biggest YouTuber for someone to try to use you or want to utilize you. You understand? So know who you are and do self awareness, man. Go subscribe to my man Eric Kumba, man. Eric Kumba got the sports over there popping. I think it was last Friday he did something with APTV. Awesome show. Go watch it. Subscribe to APTV. Got the garments, entrepreneur. My brother Quasi in the cut. Man, we're gonna try to do something. I think the brother said today actually. So we might do something, man. We might do something and speak about validation. Speak about how artificial intelligence, how AI, social media platforms are taking over our lives, right? Because we want compliments, right? We're social beings. People crave for social rewards, but you got to be able to give this to yourself. If you can't, then you're never going to be able to really live life, and that's the sad part about it. Because when we're born, we're not given no instruction guide, but just life is life, and you really can't see it unless you start really living life. And when I say living, I mean getting out there. I understand people say, "Y'all don't like to be around people." I got this homegirl on TikTok. She's always, "Yo, my fallback game is strong." And this is why it might be so hard for you, because you're quick to cut people off. You're quick to cut everyone off. Everyone's negative. I don't hug people. I don't. you can't live life like that. I don't trust anyone. You got to trust someone. You don't trust your children. You don't trust your wife. You don't trust yourself. You don't trust your mother. You got to trust somebody, man. And I can see if you trust them to an extent, but you got to trust somebody. That's what life is about. And if you get burnt or something, then we learn from these experiences. But we got to live life, and we got to open up. We can't be so closed in and ready to fight, argue. We're always thinking about defending ourselves, man. Our nervous system is in defense mode constantly. And we're going to speak about that. We're going to speak about that maybe tomorrow. The brain and the nervous system, right? Jacked up, right? When you see people act out behaviors in a certain way, that's what's going on within them. You got to check it at the door. If not, then it will be exposed. You will expose yourself.